The sun has not yet risen, but the sea already breathes heavily. The horizon is covered by a dense fog, so white it seems to have been stitched together by death itself. The water moves slowly, as if afraid to awaken the monster that sleeps upon it. And then, between the silence and the distant sound of the waves, emerges the silhouette of a ship that looks more like a predator in the dark. The Queen Anne's Revenge. The black sails sway like mourning flags. The masts creak like ancient bones, and the dark wood seems to absorb every ray of light that tries to touch it. On deck, men sleep sprawled in makeshift hammocks, others snoring on barrels of gunpowder, some embracing bottles of rum as if they were amulets against hell. The smell is a mixture of sweat, sea air, gunpowder, damp wood, and dried blood, an irrefutable signature of the piracy of that century. But in the darkest corner of the deck, there's a detail that makes sailors' hearts freeze. A pair of black boots, near the mainmast, heavy as graves. They belong to the man everyone expects to rise at any moment. The demon of the dawn, the nightmare of European crowns, the terror of the Caribbean seas, Blackbeard. And when he breathes, even in his sleep, the entire ship seems to hold its breath. Dawn arrives softly, and the day will begin exactly to the rhythm of the world's most feared pirate. Now, pay attention, because here comes the punch to your romantic imagination. The common myth paints Blackbeard as an irrational savage, a brute without strategy, a violent drunkard who lived on impulses. But that's a children's book lie. Blackbeard was not an animal. He was a military strategist, a calculating commander, a psychological leader, a genius of terror. That image of him with wicks burning in his beard wasn't madness, it was marketing. Psychology of war, emotional manipulation. The man understood that fear is the most efficient weapon in the world. There was no need to fight if the enemy was already defeated before even drawing the sword. So, get that stereotype of a drunk stumbling on deck out of your head. Blackbeard organized his crew with stricter rules than many armies, and his days were planned with precision from dawn to dusk. Today, you will discover how one of the most feared leaders on the planet really lived. We are at the beginning of the 18th century, the so-called Golden Age of piracy, a period where maritime trade exploded. Ships carried fortunes in sugar, gold, tobacco, and slaves. European empires were at war, and the Caribbean was a geopolitical chaos without a clear owner. In this environment, pirates were not just bandits, they were pieces on a gigantic chessboard. Port Royal, Nassau, Tortuga, all were pirate havens where naval deserters, runaway slaves, mercenaries, poorly paid sailors, and desperate adventurers gathered in parallel societies. Blackbeard emerges precisely from this social mire. Probably born in England, this part is still debated. He served as a privateer before becoming a pirate. That is, he had legal military training before turning to the opposition. When he finally takes command of the Queen Anne's Revenge, he is not just a pirate. He is an experienced commander with advanced tactics and international influence. Now that we are inside his world, Let's get into the routine. This is where things get interesting, because a day with Blackbeard feels like 3 days together. Let's divide it the right way. The sun finally breaks through the clouds and illuminates the ship. The pirates are already up. Some clean compartments, others sharpen knives, others scrape barnacles from the hull. Fundamental tasks for keeping the ship fast. But nobody makes a sound near the main mast, because that's where Blackbeard rises. And when he awakens, the entire ship's mood changes. He begins the day observing the horizon. He doesn't talk much. He doesn't smile. He doesn't greet anyone. He examines the wind, the position of the sails, the behavior of the sea. It's the silent ritual that precedes any movement. Then comes the moment the crew dreads, the morning inspection. He walks the deck, analyzing everything. Loose ropes, poorly tied knots, rusty weapons, lazy pirates, damage to the wood, state of the sails, cleanliness of the cannons. If he finds something wrong, he doesn't shout. He doesn't hit. He doesn't punish. He looks. And that look alone makes the strongest man tremble. Because Blackbeard rules through psychology, not brutality. But the morning isn't just tension. It's planning. It's when Blackbeard reviews maps, calculates routes, and chooses potential prey. He decides where the hunt will take place.